Cara, del Pisano, in English could be translated with...
The colorful umbrellas is what the tour directors carry, so their group can pick them out amongst the big crowds. Just walking up to another stop. This is in the gardens of this guy Krupp, who built this area house.
Edifice to the very right, over there, and the winding path that leads to Marina Piccola was all part of the immense estate belonging to the German Friedrich Alfred von Krupp, the German ammunitioner. He had he was the cannon maker, right over here, to which he would invite the members of the aristocracy of the epoch. Beautiful 4 statues of Bernini. As I told you, this was confirmed by the findings of fossilized remains of enormous prehistorical continental mammals, the life of which would be unthinkable, impossible in a small territory like Capri of only 7 square miles. So it is a fact that Capri millennia ago was part of the continent. Same geological formation, as you can see, limestone here and limestone on the Milky Mountain. Now this report, as you must have heard, for the first time in 1951. And soon after she came, together with her husband, they opened a restaurant called the La Canzone del Mare, Song of the Sea, very popular amongst the stage people. So in order to avoid the hassle of having to go back and forth every...
Pretty soon they'll give it away, maybe, huh? Now this is on the ferry. Kay mad at me to this day because I didn't tell her to go ahead and buy that thing. It was only $5 or so. I guess they were $10.
Yeah?
Going back to Sorrento. Big jail.
Sì, quella è la verità. E allora lui ecco, non aveva niente da dire.
Yeah, now we're going to Stefano or San Sebastian or something like that.
E meno male forse che hanno
Naples Harbor.
E tu hai detto ma se era sei un pochettino corto.
is known as the Maremma, and so it was originally marshland where nobody lived after the days of the Etruscans. It was infested with mosquitoes bearing malaria, and so it was became known really as an area that was became known as a desolated part of the country where nobody could live because of all the disease. Then in the 19th century they decided that the land should be used, and so they reclaimed it from the marshes using a method known as the Kolmata method, channeling rivers down through the marshland so that as the rivers deposited their silt and solid matter, so the marshes were filled in and the remaining soil very, very rich and red and fertile. And they grow all sorts of crops here along the Maremma, including the usual cereal crops, fruit and vegetables, things like peppers and plum tomatoes, which have all been harvested in now, but look at the lovely colour of the soil here. You can see now it's been tilled after the harvesting. The area is also well known for its particular flora and fauna. The World Wildlife Fund has an interest in a seabird reserve down on the coast along the Maremma, which houses many species of rare seabirds. There are also a species of semi-wild cattle and horses that live here. The cattle are white with very long horns, and they're looked after by a group of men known as the Brutteri. Now the Brutteri will tell you to forget everything you've ever seen or heard about John Wayne and his colleagues, because so they tell us. And they even hold rodeo shows in Grosseto, the city that we'll be driving through later today. Another animal that's native here is the wild boar, which is hunted and is served in all the Maremma restaurants as their speciality. The meat, of course, being rather like pork, but a little bit less onto the island, and another one which we'll be taking back onto the mainland afterwards. The group of islands off the Tuscan coast, known as the Tuscan Archipelago. Now the largest and most famous of those islands is actually the island of Elba, which is a little way from where we are now. Off the coast here, the island of the Lily, and also the famous Monte Cristo, which is where the Count lived. That island is actually now a nature reserve, which you can't go anywhere near it anymore. Just a tiny little island only inhabited by birds and animals. So this is Monte Argentario, which used to form part of that group of islands in Greece. So it still is a fishing port, but nowadays it's also become a fashionable yacht resort where rich Romans, for example, keep their yachts harboured, and it's also become the centre for many boating events of the Spaniards, and the triple gateway bearing the coat of arms of King Philip. It's above the central arch. Now King Philip didn't expect buses to be driving through his archway, so please everybody breathe in.
Well, when Mario slows down, he must be close.
From the Tyrrhenian Sea by the island of Monte Argentario and its strips of land connecting it. Now, in just a second we'll be coming out onto the central of the three strips of land that will take us across onto Monte Argentario itself, and then we'll be following the coastal road round as far as Porto Santo Stefano. As we come out onto the strip of land here.
Does this say self-service there anywhere? I don't think so. But it is. It's self-service,
That cat wanted off. It's about 6 feet from the boat to the dock, and they kept looking at it. Didn't know they could just walk to the next boat and off on the gangplank.